Hey everybody, and welcome back, and hello particularly to my friends Shannon and Adam and Little Cow. So what's going on? Well, the slow build-up of subscribers continues, 1,800 and something I think, and actually the comments have increased, which is keeping me busy, but that's very good because with the exception of one person, the comments are always very well received, often a lot of good information for me, so I'm trying to answer them, so just bear with me on that. So we are starting on the motor, the engine. I've been busy. You can see this here is the bottom half of the engine. I've done all the blasting with the garnet, and as you can see we've got basically all the black off. So I've just been changing the media in the blast cabinet, and I've put the glass bead in. So the next thing for me to do is redo everything with the glass beads to get the nice finish I want. So what I'm going to do first of all is just do a sort of smallish piece, and I'll show you the difference between the two finishes. To show the difference in the finish, actually what I've done is this bottom case. I've got a light shining on it as well, just so you can. So this side is being done with a glass bead, that side is just done with an abrasive, the what you would call it. So you can see the difference in colour, but also see how that side is shiny as if it's been polished, and that side is dull. It's clean, but it's dull. And I haven't polished this at all, that's just the way it comes out. So let me carry on and we'll get it all finished. Just thought I'd show you this piece. Actually, it's blasting a lot easier, of course, than getting the black off. That was backwards and forwards with the heavy stuff. But this is basically just cleaning it up. But you can see now, this is almost as if it's been painted silver. But of course it isn't, it's a nice sealed surface, it'll clean up in later times. So there it is with some parts that are polished and the Yamaha in blue. I think those two outer covers are going to look nice. Alright, let me get on. Now then, there's everything now bead blasted. As I say, we get this really nice finish, even down to the little pieces. Got the covers done and polished up. Now the next thing to do is, even though you saw with this cover I had it sort of masked up, the thing is it's not like paint. We're not talking about some nice soft liquid drops being blasted on here at 30 or 40 psi. They're sort of hard pieces. They're going to be at something like 80 psi, so believe me, they're getting everywhere. So although you may be not actually blasting these areas inside, there's going to be some ingress of the bits and pieces, which of course you don't want. So the first thing you do is give everything a blowout. Then the next thing you do is you get yourself a big tub, a lot of hot water, and a good, I prefer nice water soluble degreasers for this sort of stuff rather than trying to use a solvent. Apart from anything else, it's a lot of stuff. So using something like this, you can actually, as I say, get a big tub, fill it up and completely submerge these, and then using various brushes and things you can give it a wash off. And what you do, it's a bit like measuring wood, you know, measure twice, cut once. Give this a good soaking, give it a really good washing. When you're pretty sure it's absolutely perfect, do it again. And then blow it all out, blow everything out. One of the nice things about using a water soluble one is you don't get any hydrocarbon residue at all, because the glass beads are incredibly small. You know, they're not like alleys. Remember alleys? You know, they're not big. They're not quite microscopic, but they're very small. So they'll stick to the least little bit of greasiness. Whereas the water soluble stuff, when you blow it out, it's completely dry metal. It doesn't have any film on it at all. And speaking of greasiness, one of the things I should have mentioned was, if you're taking anything to be sandblasted, or if you're going to blast it yourself, go right round it, and in the little places make sure there's no grease and dirt. sort of stuck in there, because it acts just like a rubber mat, and when the abrasive hits it, it just stops. So don't think you're going to sandblast off greasy muck. You're not. It's going to stay there. You've got to be sandblasting or glass blasting the actual metal itself. So let me get on, get all this stuff washed off, and then we'll see about fitting this bottom piece into the frame. Alright, the moment of truth. Let's see if we can build this. I've been thinking about it. I think there might be one, not exactly problem, but might have a couple of little bolts that are in the way. There we go. So that's going to go in like that. That's all the bolt holes. So let's see. See if you can see down underneath. Yep. Alright, so we have, these are the crank clamping bolts, so that's fine, and so that one is. That one's fine. So the centre one's loads of room, and actually these outside ones are well outside as well. Now then, these two here, as you can see, I'm pretty sure I can get a bolt in there, but certainly I can get a short Allen key in there, so I could always put these bolts up through. Now then, one problem we have is the two rear middle bolts here have to be put in with the sump off, and the sump has a couple of bolt holes right back here. Right over where the centre stand crosspiece is. But I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can get those in. Alright, so what we're going to do, let me raise you up. What we're going to do here is, there's one gearbox shaft and the gear change drum that have to go in from the bottom, so we'll have to put those in, then we can put this in, then when we've got the top bolted down I'm going to have to be able to put the sump on, but I think we're alright. And probably if the worst came to the worst, with the front mounting bolts in, I could take the back bolt out, lift that up a little bit, you know, because I won't have the barrels on, it'll only be here, so it'll go forward a bit, and then I can almost certainly, I think, get to those rear sump bolts. So that's the next thing then. Take this out and put that little bit of gearbox stuff in. I just had a thought. I suppose I should check to make sure that I can actually get the sump in. Never mind the bolts. Oh yes, that will go in fine. Oh, actually, we have a couple of bolts. None on that side. We have two bolts on this side that are going to be close. Possibly three bolts. If the absolute worst comes to the worst, of course, I've got, even with the top on, I've got plenty of space. I could always put the, no, I can't put the jack under, can I? Because that's going to be where the sump, well, yes. I could put the sump on with a couple of bolts I can get. Then put the jack under it and lift the engine up and get the bolts in. So, you see, you were worrying for nothing there. Told you before, it'll all come out in the wash. Alright, I think I'm going to have a cup of tea. Alright, this is 1 cup of tea, slice of toast, and a tin of kipper fillets later. Now, here's a funny thing. From one of the recent videos, I got a comment from a chap. Must have been the one where I kept putting things down and losing them, because he mentioned that he had a bunch of projects going on and he how he kept things organised, which is what I normally do, as you can see here. Sort of here's the gear change stuff, there's the Mainshaft, Layshaft, whichever one it is, and this I think actually is the kickstart part. And I normally do it like that. Well, but here's the funny thing. The comment appears, and you can't quite read it all in the little box in the top right hand corner. So when I click on it, it disappears and I can't find it. It's disappeared a couple of times, so very odd. Alright, I'm looking at all this stuff and I haven't a clue how it goes back together. And I only took it apart a couple of days ago. So let me have a look in the book and then we'll see if we can't put it all together. Now it would appear the first thing I put in is the gear change drum, the one that the sliders locate in. So that goes in. I vaguely remember this. Then this bit goes on, which is for the detente and everything, and that's got a little slot in it and there's a little pin on here. Now then, that can go on two possible... Oh no, it's alright, it's identical. So that goes on like thus. Then we put, there's a lot of circlips in here. We put a circlip on. Now hey, don't mess me about here. There that goes. Up, clip. Then, go look at the book again. Then that goes right through and locates in a hole over here, like that. Then we turn it over. Oops, and there's a locating bolt which I have right here, which goes in there. Which way did it go? Like that, yes. So that goes in there. Now then, obviously it's a locating bolt, so there must be a little hole to locate in, or a slot anyway. And that's it. Now it'll go the rest of the way. We get a pair of pliers to do the things. This is pretty poor, isn't it? I can't remember something I did a few days ago. But it's Japanese, it's Japanese. You know what? I don't think I've ever built a Japanese engine. Alright, so that's in there like that. So that will turn, but it won't come out. Then what do? Replace drum detente mechanism and the neutral indicator switch. Alright, that's in our little bag of gubbins here. There's the detente mechanism, and I was just looking at the switch. I'll find that in a minute. Okay, so where does that go? In there, I'll bet. No. Let's turn it over again. Well, it has to go in. It has to go in on that bit. That's probably out of focus again. that is where the neutral switch goes. So where the devil I'm gonna have to look at the book again, hold on. It's alright, I found it. I'd screwed it back in so I didn't lose it. It's this. Da, 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 da. Roll on the Enfield trials bike when I know what I'm doing. Because I'd taken this out because I nailed that copper gasket again. See, that goes in there. Now we're shaping. Lad. And that hole is for the neutral switch. So that goes in there like that. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Where's my little torch? See on there, there's a little pin. Yep. That little pin comes round and in neutral, which is there, you can see it's clocked into the detente. It's pointing up at a hole here. And into that hole goes the switch. Ta-da, ta-da. Is that the same size? Yes, it is. What a spot of luck. Probably not. They probably made it that. Right, so that's that. Now the next thing I think it says to put in is the bearing, new in the switch, where are we? 3A, fit the Layshaft, centre bearing and clip. Okay, which is over here. Right, there is the Layshaft centre bearing, which goes down into there. Give that a bit of a... And then it has this clip thing which goes into there to hold it in place, because the cap has a slot for that to go in. Now then, I bet that goes around a specific way. Let's see, it's pointing towards this. Is it pointing towards that? Yes, it is. Okay. I remember this was awkward to get off. Let's get me a little soft hammer. There we go. My God, we're actually getting somewhere. Right, 2 little washers. I've moved this around here, still seeing. See, you've got to shout out. If I move something or it's out of focus, just shout. Say, oi, dipstick. What's got in there? Before anybody says, oh, he's probably got some glass beads in that, these never went anywhere near the bead blasting. Okay. So they go on like that. Now then, what size are they going to be? Oh dear. 12 by the looks of it. What's that? 14. Yep, they're 12s. You know, my big tool chest is on wheels specifically so I could wheel it round here and keep all these tools to hand. Maybe we'll do that next. I must admit, I really do like this thing where all the bearings are just in caps like this. Not a single pressed in bearing in the entire engine. Now then, what do? Now, you see, there's a gear that goes down there, so we've got to put the shaft in from this end, we drop the gear in there, we put one on there. It's coming back. So, okay, insert Layshaft and fit first gear pinion and washer. Right. So that goes in there like that. So I guess that one is the big one I was talking about, which goes in there. I don't want to have you hanging around, hold on a second. Right, it certainly looks as if this washer goes on first. And then this is one of those awkward things, right, that's got to... And that goes in there like that. Whoa. All right. Now then, we have this, which screws in the end of here. Gotta do this without everything falling out. So that goes in there. So I've got to get a big Allen wrench for that. Now I have one more big gear. Where does that go? See? You'd think that might go on there, wouldn't you? Now hang on, that can't be right because that's got dogs on it. Yeah, that should go in there. Bugger. Well, we haven't had a wart for ages, have we? So, let's see. That comes off there. So we're going to take this back out of there. We're going to put that one on there. Let's see, that will only go in there like that. No, that's too big. Does that one have... See, that one doesn't have the thing for the dogs to go in. That must fit in there. I suppose my hands are getting... Oh, see? But now that shaft doesn't fit far enough to get that. We're sticking out too far. This is weird. Oh. Hang on. That washer goes on the other side of that gear. Because that gear now my God, they don't give you much room. Now then, we'll put that on. Come on now, washer, get that washer on. Oh, come on. Way. Okay. But no. Oh dear. Back to the book. It's alright, I just hadn't got that pushed in far enough, but of course now it's clicked in far enough to go into that. It's clicked in too far to me to be able to get that in. So I've got to be able to push it back. Come on now, be a good boy. Oh, another 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Okay. So that goes in there. Oh. See, by the time you push that in there, this one's come off its position. Tra-la! Okay, so now we screw this thing back in here. And all we're I'm going to do now is put this gear change mechanism together. So let me switch you off again. Now I've got to tighten that, but of course it turns. So this book, which I bought in the UK, uses a nice UK term. It talks about a sprag. This is one I actually made up for the Royal Enfield clutch. But fortunately it's just the right size to go in there and lock that gear, providing I don't let it jump out. And we have a lock washer on that, so that is fine there. Okay, so they're all in. So now we've got to put in our rod and the selector forks and various other little bits and pieces. So let me have another look at the book. Actually, there is one more thing, of course. We've got to have something to support this end of the shaft. So this cover goes on, and it's got a nice needle roller bearing in it. There's also a spacing piece that goes on, and this actually acts also as an outrigger support for the gear change shaft. So we've got to pop that in there. I've put a new O-ring on it. God, you'd hardly think it needed an O-ring, wouldn't you? It's obviously not seating right. Alright, then we'll find some screws to go in there, but for the moment I should think that's gripping that. Oh, look, things are getting dirty. Alright, so that's on there. Now we'll come to the gear change mechanism. Just noticed all that last bit of film was a little dark inside here and a little off centre. So anyway, next thing is the selector forks. And the selector forks, although they look identical, they have a very slight difference in the sizes. So, well, you won't be able to see it because I can hardly see it, but I actually marked one as inner and one as outer. So this rod goes through, and that's why that bit had to go around one way, look, because the rod comes through there. So okay, so our rod goes in, that one goes on there, I think. Yep, and fits into the drum. That one goes on there, fits into the drum, goes through one, through t'other end, into here, and then you'll see we've got a groove for a clip which goes on there like thus. Alright, who's going to take money that this will go boing and disappear? Oh, it didn't. So that's that. So the next thing is the actual gear change rod, which goes through there, and all the gubbinses are inside here. So let's move it around. Now we may be going to come to a standstill here because it's actually Sunday morning, and in here there were 3 Phillips head screws, and as you can see they were, I mean, they hadn't been out for 40 years or whatever. They had to come out with a punch. So I bought new ones. Actually, my friend Dick gave me some, but then I managed to get some the right length. But I thought they were all 6mm, and they're not. This one in here is 5mm. Now I'm not sure if I can build everything and put that in later on. What this holds on is this strange little doodad here. Everything gets mucky. I mean, they've all got to be oiled, but, and you'll see it's got these little arms on it, and they're the pins that the gear change arm catches to turn the drum, to move the sliders. Well, that fits on there. Oops, it's the other way around. To hold them all in, because they're actually just loose pins. Now I'm not sure if I can get to that when all the other stuff's on, so we'll try, and what I'll do is I'll see if I can just get that in there loosely to hold that in place, and then we'll see about the rest of it. So let me just find a screwdriver. Okay, so that is going to go in there like that. As I say, I'll just screw it in. So that doesn't come off. Okay, the next thing to go on is this here pivot. Goes on there like that, and that is held on with these two. I tell you what, I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on them. Actually, somebody asked me about why I didn't use Loctite rather than some lock washers on. I think it was the plate holding the instrument panels on, and I mentioned that I like to use lock washers on any bolt that's going to come out or is likely to come out, whereas things that are inside the engine and so on, I would use a little bit of Loctite, because you can't get at them to check that they're tight once they're in. There's that one in there. There's t'other. Now then, the next thing is this little pawl mechanism, which has a spring on it. It goes on this way, and it has a mark on it, and this drum also has a mark on it. So this is the thing. If this covers that screw, then we're stumped. We can't go any further. Oh, that should go inside that drum. There we go. Now there are actually two marks on this, funnily enough, so I think okay, that's in. Now we've got a circlip that goes on here, which I think is that one, or is it that one? No, it's that one. There we go. Okay. Now the next thing to go in, there's a little mark on one tooth there. Where's it gone? Is this thing, which is our good old gear change return spring. So we'll stick a little bit of oil on this because it's got to slide through a couple of places. To keep you abreast of my weather, Friday it was 68 degrees, basically all the snow had gone. Saturday it was 32 and it snowed a bit, and today it's 32 and it snowed again. So Friday all the snow was gone, and now we're back to having the snow again. Actually it's only a dusting. We're supposed to go I've got it pressed right down against the table now and it won't go any further. Let's put some stuff under there. Right, there's our, can you see that? There's our spring on its post and our little holes are lined up. I'm going to have to lay it down now to get that through. So when I lay it down it's going to go out of your sight. So let me turn you off and lay it down. So there we go. Put that in, that was barely a fraction. As far as it'll go, that doesn't seem to... Yep, that's it. Everything's up against where it's supposed to be. You know, they don't mesh completely. You can see they're sticking out a bit. Now why is that? There aren't any washers or anything that go under that. That's tight up on this clip. I wonder if that washer there is one of those where it's a bigger hole and you've got to get it lined up. Doesn't look like it. Let's push it back out and check. No. Well, I really don't like the look of that. I don't see why that won't go further in. It's all sticking out the right amount. This side. Okay. Let me go and check up on that. Alright, problem solved. I've just been up to the house and checked on this big sort of vintage Yamaha dealer we have here, who very nicely puts all of the parts books online. And this washer doesn't go here. It goes back here where the E-clip goes. So I thought it was about the thickness of a washer. That's why I pulled the washer out, and then this meshes properly. I also got these two little marks to line up right, because the drum was out of position. So let's push this forward. It's got to come back off, of course. What's that catching on? Why won't that come out? Well, isn't that weird? Where's the little soft hammer gone? I've just had that in and out a couple of times while I was trying to work out oh, now this is just starting to get annoying. There's nothing there, it's just a shaft that goes through. Well, that one's really got me foxed. Ha! What can be catching the spring? No, there's plenty of space for the spring. Let's turn this over. What can that possibly be catching on? Oh, alright. Let me look into this. Well, that is one of those mechanical mysteries. I fiddled and look. Alright. We'll put the washer on the other end. Push this back through. Spring on, line up our little, see, look, it's just gone together. That is bloody amazing. Alright, so around this side, see, that's where the washer went, right there. And then this goes in there to hold the shaft in. And we're in business. So the next thing is to pop this into the frame. So there it is, back in the frame. Now we can start and build all the stuff that goes on the top. And then, as I say, put the sump in. So that's it for this week. Everything spins nicely. Everything lines up where it's supposed to. So I've got to get a 5mm screw for there to put that in, and then we can forget about that and start putting the crank in. That other piece, by the way, that goes in there that I said was kickstart thing, one end of it is, but of course it's actually the drive that goes to what's called the middle gearbox, which would be for the shaft drive, which is now for our chain drive. So that's what this one big gear here does. It turns that. Alright, so as I say, that's it for now. So I'm going to go and put my feet up, read my book, and you go and enjoy yourselves.